Hey y'all, welcome back. Late start today. I've been running around this morning. Actually got some stacks of lumber up here behind me. Looks like we might be able to get something done today as far as progress on the actual cabin itself. So quite an eventful day running around, trying to find supplies and things like that. It's never easy nowadays. It is what it is. So got a bunch of my tools down here. There's some things specifically I had questions about. A couple of people sent me an email asking about this termite shield and the shingle and the stuff like that. So I'm going to show you what my plans are for that, or how I'm going to put this together, and why the way I'm going to do it. So yeah, let me set you up on a tripod here and I'll walk you through it. Okay, this right here is literally just one section of a 3-tab shingle. Okay, it's not an architectural shingle, it's just a 3-tab shingle. It's the cheapest shingles you can buy. So I just cut them up into three pieces. So this is kind of what you're left with. So I know my pier here is only 10 inches across. These are 10-inch piers. So I know these will cover what I need to. So I basically eyeball this, kind of put this over, make sure you get coverage on all 4 sides of the shingle. And then I just tap down on the anchor bolt. This is just going to cut through and break the shingle. Just tap on that for a little bit, give it a little press, and the shingle pops right through. Okay? Now, because these are round, obviously, and this is square, I'd like it to kind of look a little better. So really fairly easy. Literally just press down. This is usually easier if they are cold. A shingle will just about snap if it's cold. I just work it around here, pushing down on the top of the column, creating that crease, and you can see here it's already starting to break free. I always just try and work this across. I don't try and do too much too quickly, because if it splits, it splits where you don't want it to. That might be a problem. I prefer them to be a solid piece. All right, just about broken through now, just about everywhere. There. Now this is really, I did all the other four before. This is the first one that came off all in one piece. So anyway, so there you go. So now, and the reason we're doing this is because of this. This is a termite shield. Okay, I'm in the south, and we have termites down here. So these are aluminum, and if you put aluminum next to the concrete, it's going to corrode. There's a corrosion aspect to concrete, so we literally just use the shingle to separate the two. So now, because I know this is correct, well, not correct, but I know this is the shape of the pier and the location of the anchor bolt, I can use this shingle now to use it as a template to find where my hole for the shield should be. I did not put holes directly in the middle of these shields because I knew some of these anchor bolts weren't going to be perfectly center. Okay, and then across here, these are 10 inches across, so it is the size of the pier. So it is a fairly tight fit. So guesstimating on it and stuff like that's really not an option. So I'll carefully pull this off. I've got a Sharpie in my pocket. I'll center it on here and I'll make a mark, and that's where I'll put the hole for the anchor bolt. Hope that clears it up. Now that the termite shield is on, I go ahead and put on my mounting bracket here. This is a Simpson bracket, and this is set up for an actual 6x6 post. So, but because I'm using 2x6 nominal lumber, but again, they're 1.5 inches wide a piece. I'm going to have 4 boards coming through here. So So I'm not going to tighten this down. They give you a little, it's not really like a washer. It's more of just a plate to kind of help that hold that down. And then obviously a bolt goes on, and then we have this plate here, and that's where, like I said, this is a post bracket. This isn't exactly what this is made for, but it's what I'm using it for. So I'm not going to tighten it down. I won't tighten it down until I get the rest of the everything set up, and I'll run a string line and get everything straight, and then we'll tighten stuff down. All right, so that's what these are all going to look like. Now, most of this, you're not actually really going to see this because the edge of the building is going to be out here somewhere. So ideally, you're not going to see those aluminum termite shields and stuff. But I'm sure if somebody snuck under there and started looking around, they would see it. But anyway, there's that detail. I'm going to work on getting the rest of these up and keep moving forward. All right, guys, well, this is where we're going to leave it for today. I've got all the brackets mounted, lined up, tightened in, and ready to go. Slight things I'm going to have to fix here. I'll show you in just a second. I also got all the backfilling done, so all the footers are now covered over. Everything's looking good. So just to give you a little bit of a visual, I threw two boards up in here on this right side of the structure. So this is kind of what these are going to look like. These are 16-foot boards, and so two more will fit in here, and that's going to be the skid. So basically, it's on this end, it'll be a 16-footer, an 8-footer, a 16-footer, and then an 8-footer. Then you alternate on the other end. That's what's going to make up the difference here on this end. So to connect this end now here, obviously, to this end over here, we're going to take one of those 16-footers, we're going to cut them right in half. So the one thing I got to fix, and this was just one of these things you're really kind of not going to know, not like I do this for a living. So I knew that because this cover fits over like this, I knew that these bolts, these anchor bolts, could not stick very far out of the concrete. But I also didn't want them in there so short that, you know, your nut's not going to have anything to hold on to. So this was one of those situations where it's easier to take away than it is to get. So I can't pull it out of the concrete and make it longer, but I can break out my grinder and cut that off. So that's what I'm going to do, because if you put this cover down on here, that bolt is too high. Okay, so I got to take off maybe 1/4 of an inch of that, and that will sit down there flush, sits along this edge over here and this side here. And yeah, so I actually have to do that on 5 of them. These 4 on this side, and then the one I just showed you. So we'll break out the grinder tomorrow and cut those off. That's really no big deal. Again, I would much rather have that be the situation than be standing there. How am I going to attach these brackets to a bolt that's barely sticking out of the concrete? So anyway, so I'm going to pull these boards off tomorrow morning. I'll come down here early when it's foggy out. I'll set up the laser and see if I have to shim anywhere. But the way these boards are sitting on it right now, everything is flush. So I'm pretty happy with that. But you know, we're going to set up the laser. We're going to get the truth. So yeah, that's it. Exciting day. Day 1. We'll be out here a full day of work tomorrow. I will definitely have the skids up tomorrow, and then have the joist, the rim joist, and all that stuff, the flooring, starting to take shape. All right, guys, that's it for today. We'll see you on the next one.